to Grease Garage, and this episode is for you if you like noises. That's right, we're putting a blower valve because boost is epic and Liam likes to boost everywhere. So we're going to bleed it off and make noises.
Yeah.
You're going to turn diesel into blower valve noises.
That's the plan.
That's the plan on this episode today. So here we go. This is not the first time we've had to dig deep into the mess that is the Patrol's engine bay. So if you want to see the mods we have done in the past, keep an eye out for these videos on YouTube. The links will be in the description. So first thing we need to do is we need to pull the intercooler out, get it ready for modifying. So as you can see, we've got the intercooler into the vise and I'm about to drill a hole in this perfectly good working intercooler because we want to make noises. Now look, I can understand why you probably wouldn't want to do this and you probably think we're crazy for doing it. So there is a couple of other options. It's anywhere, any boost pipe that you can get to and weld to, you can do this, but for us, this is going to be the easiest. It's going to have a lot of pressure on this side, so it's going to work really, really well. So we've got the intercooler in this position, so when we drill it, all the metal shavings and stuff like that are just going to sit on the bottom, and then we're going to clean it out with some degreaser and stuff like that. If you're drilling it the other way around, you're going to put all the metal shavings into your intercooler, and that is not a good time. So I'm using the drill on medium speed to slowly cut a hole in this intercooler. The hole saw that I've chosen is slightly smaller than the scrap metal pipe I'm using to weld the blower valve onto. Once I'm done, me and Liam, we get in there and we make sure this thing is 100% clean and we get any grease and oil out of it as well, getting ready to weld it. Oops. Oh well, that's right, we can clean that. As you can see, we are on the lathe, which makes my life extremely easy. But using a lathe to do this type of work is not necessary, and a cutting disc on a grinder or a drum wheel will work. Or, in this case, you could skip this step altogether and just weld the piping directly onto the intercooler, though you might end up with a weaker job. Okay, so we're set up in the welder's warming up. Liam has done an awesome job cleaning this up, ready to weld. So we just sanded it, hit it with a bit of thinners, and on the lathe I've obviously got this piece of tubing up. Now I've put a lip on it, and that's so we can get it in there. Using a light touch. There we go. Oop. There we go, we just bed it in there. Perfect. There you go. And now we get to weld it up. Straight, angled? I don't know. Anyway, let's get welding.
So we're in there, check it clear that bar.
What's that?
Should we check it clear that bar?
Nah, she's fine, mate. While I'm smashing a weld on this intercooler, I wanted to say thank you to all my subscribers. 2021, the channel hit the 1K mark and it was such a big deal to me. And I want to give something back to my first 1,000 subscribers. So leave a comment and I'll get in contact with you and I'll make sure to hook you up with some merch. Also, I know 2021 was a hard year for most, so I hope by watching my content, it gave you a break from reality, something to chill to, have some laughs, and maybe pick up a new skill. My hope is that 2022 will be a better year for all of us. This is another example where you could miss this step completely. Instead of removing the lip, getting it ready to weld directly onto the pipe, you could keep the lip there and use some silicone piping and some hose clamps. The reason why I'm not doing this is because of where the blower valve is going to sit. We need it to be as rigid as possible and any movement would probably result in it rubbing in against the bonnet or the engine parts. Alright, so Liam has test fitted this. We realised this was too long, so I've cut this down on the bandsaw, cleaned it up, hit it again with thinners, and what I've done is I've laved a bit of the lip off here, so now we can sit in there just nicely so we can weld it. Like I said, also hit this with thinners, so it's all clean, ready to go. We could probably turn the heat down a bit on the welder. We're about 140 amps. So, yeah, let's smash it. Oh, well, pretty good. Seems to run out of gas. Okay, so as you can see, I've cleaned up those welds because I didn't want Liam's car crying. Pretty much, if it's unsightly, I have to clean it up. So we've got the blow-off valve here, and this will make a man cry, trying to put these in. As you can see, we put the O-ring in first, and even that's not sticking in where it's meant to be. There you go, kind of. We get this little clip, like that, to make sure the blow-off valve's clean, and then we sit it in here. And for some reason, someone thought it was a great idea to then try and get your little pliers in here. Squish them in, and then you try to make them fit. But I'm telling you right now, it's not an easy job. And this is going to take us about 20 times to do. So enjoy us screwing around. Oh, mate. There's a special...
Want me to hold the blow-off valve on it?
No. Where's that rag? Clean rag. There's that. Oh my god. And see, this is the problem. If you don't have the right clips. Oh, fuck's sake. Right, we've got it sitting in there kind of.
5 hours later.
We need my hammer and a flat blade screwdriver. Please, Liam, can you find the rubber hammer?
That flat blade? That is too big or what?
No, that will do. That will do. Yes. Go and get me the hammer.
Oh, man.
Okay, let's get the camera and get a close-up of this. Okay, as you can see, I've got it just sitting in there, and we need to whack this down. So, the only real way of doing that is to get a flat blade screwdriver and like just smacking it. So, usually you can't turn this too much. So, what we're going to do is we're just going to sit here, and you just want to... Alright, that just jumped in, and what will happen is the more you push it in, the harder this is going to get to move. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's in, bro. Okay, so we got the blow-off valve where it needs to be. So now it's time to explain how this is all going to work. So the most necessary component is the turbo. We need something that's going to create positive pressure. Next is the intercooler. Not actually necessary to install a blow-off valve on an engine or even needed on a turbo engine, but on our setup it is playing a big part. Seems the blow-off valve is connected to it. Now, something that's out of place on conventional mainstream diesels is the throttle body. The reason I have this here is so I can explain to you guys how a blow-off valve would normally work on a turbo petrol EFI engine. So the outlet of the intercooler is connected to the throttle body. So when the throttle body is open, all of that boost pressure is getting fed directly into the engine. But when the throttle body is closed under load, that pressurized air has nowhere to go. This pressure buildup can cause all kinds of problems. The simple solution is the blow-off valve. Now, on a diesel there normally isn't any throttle bodies. So we got to figure out a way to get back into the internal diaphragm of that blow-off valve. Also, we need to figure out a way to control the vacuum to that blow-off valve. Otherwise, it's going to be open all the time, letting all that boost out, and no one has time for that. So what I'm going to use is a 2-port solenoid. Pretty much 2-port means it's got 2 ports on it, an in and an out. We're going to get that connected to the vacuum pump on the motor, and then we're going to run a line to the blower valve, which I've already done, and tee this in between it. We're going to test it first. It's not going to be pretty, just going to use some zip ties, go for a drive, and if it works, happy days. If it doesn't, back to the drawing board. So let's get to it. Okay, so we're just trying to find a secluded spot to test it. Liam, how much boost are we running at the moment? 14 psi, so it should at least make a decent noise if it works. How are you feeling? You feeling confident?
Yeah.
He's feeling confident? That's good. Where are we going?
Well, yeah.
Well, we have to find a back street to do this properly before we start going nuts. All right, Liam, you ready?
Yeah.
I've got my hand on the battery. Go. Yay!
Ready?
All right, here we go. Go, 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 go.
Go.
Oh,
Well,
go again.
ready?
It's not doing anything.
Mind your mode. Go.
Okay,
Fail.
let's pull over and see what happened. That should have worked. Got the battery? Go. That's working. Oh yeah, that's got suction. Not working again. I don't know. This is not. I heard it. It did work. Wasn't loud though. Alright, let me reset it again. We'll give it another go. So it works! That was so cool. But the problem is, it only worked the first time, and then nothing would happen. Which was really bizarre, but I think we got it figured out. So what was happening is, we could get connected all up, we go for a drive, put the battery on, open up the solenoid, awesome, wicked. The blower valve opens up, makes an awesome sound. I go do this again, nothing. So I was like, okay, so we hop out the car, open up the hood, take that vacuum line off, put it back on, go for a drive again, do the same thing, works the first time, doesn't work the second. So we figured out why it's doing that. Well, this is my theory anyway. What's happening is, when we take the line off, it's getting atmospheric pressure, we put the line back on, we go for a drive, and then when we open up the solenoid, we're putting vacuum in that line, and then we close the solenoid when we take the power off, but there's still vacuum in that line. The line never resets back to atmospheric pressure or boost. So what's happening is, I think the spring is actually resetting it with vacuum in that line, because the vacuum's not strong enough to keep it open. And then we turn the solenoid back on and there's no point because it already has vacuum. So it's not actually doing anything other than the very first time. So we need to put boost in there and then swap it over to vacuum or atmosphere. So that's what we're going to do next. we can do that very easily. We just need to get a 3-port solenoid, and I'll hook it up in a way so we can be boost full time until Liam, say, uses the clutch. We'll open up the solenoid, vacuum, change gears or whatever, he takes his foot off, back to boost on the back of the blower valve. So that should work, because that's how a normal car kind of works, right? Except you're using your throttle, not your clutch, foot pedal. Anyway, it works. That's very cool. It's possible, guys. If you like what you're watching, share to your mates, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in part 2, where we get this thing 100% working. And yeah, gonna want to watch it. See ya.